Let me ask you something. If someone handed you $100,000 right now, what would you do with it? And I don't mean the fantasy answer where you quit your job and backpack through Europe. I mean the real answer. The one where you're lying awake at 2 a.m. thinking, I cannot mess this up. This is more money than I've ever had. One wrong move and I could lose it all. Because that's the actual feeling most people have when they come into serious money. Whether it's an inheritance, a bonus, the sale of a business, or just years of disciplined saving finally hitting six figures, the excitement lasts about 48 hours, then the anxiety kicks in. Here's what usually happens next. You start researching. You watch YouTube videos, and I appreciate the irony here. You read articles. You ask friends what they do. And the more information you consume, the more paralyzed you become. Should you buy real estate? Should you invest in individual stocks? What about crypto? Should you pay off your mortgage? Should you hire a financial advisor? Every option sounds good until you read the comments section where someone explains why it's actually terrible. So you do nothing. The $100,000 sits in your savings account earning basically nothing while inflation quietly eats away at it. And 6 months later, you're still researching, still anxious, and you've made zero progress. My name is Max, and I spend way too much time thinking about how to turn life-changing money into actual life changes instead of just bigger problems and more stress. If you've ever had a chunk of money and felt completely overwhelmed by what to do with it, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up, because I'm about to show you exactly how I'd invest $100,000 in a way that builds serious, long-term wealth without requiring you to become a financial expert or lose sleep worrying about whether you made the right choice. Now, before we get into the specific allocation, I need to tell you about the biggest mistake people make with windfalls. They treat it like monopoly money. It showed up out of nowhere, so the normal rules don't apply. If they'd never invest their paycheck in some speculative tech startup, but hey, this is bonus money. Why not take a shot? If they'd never put their emergency fund into cryptocurrency, but this money feels free, let's gamble a little. This is how people turn $100,000 into $30,000 in 18 months and then wonder what happened. Here's the mindset shift that changes everything. That $100,000 isn't found money. It's not a lottery ticket. It's not play money. It's a decade of your life you don't have to work. It's the down payment on a house. It's your kid's college fund. It's early retirement. It's options and freedom and breathing room. Every dollar of that $100,000 represents time you could buy back later if you treat it right now with respect instead of excitement. So the first rule of investing a large sum is this: boring wins. Boring always wins. The plan I'm about to show you isn't sexy. It's not going to make you feel like a genius investor, but it will, with an extremely high degree of certainty, turn that $100,000 into substantial wealth over the next 20 to 30 years. Okay, you've got $100,000. Congratulations. Before we do anything fun with it, we need to make sure your financial foundation isn't built on quicksand. Because investing $100,000 while you're drowning in high-interest debt is like buying a sports car when your house is on fire. Technically, you can do it, but you probably shouldn't. First question, do you have high-interest debt? I'm talking credit cards, personal loans, anything charging above roughly 6 to 7% interest. If the answer is yes, a portion of that $100,000 should go toward eliminating it immediately. I know this isn't the exciting answer, but mathematics doesn't care about your feelings. If you have $20,000 in credit card debt at 18% interest, that debt is costing you $3,600 per year. You cannot reliably make 18% returns investing. Nobody can. Paying off that debt is the same as getting a guaranteed 18% return. It's the best investment you'll ever make. Second question, do you have an emergency fund? And I don't mean $500 that you call an emergency fund because it makes you feel responsible. I mean 6 months of living expenses sitting in a boring, accessible savings account. If you don't have this, $30,000 of that $100,000 needs to go here first. Non-negotiable. Because here's what happens if you invest all $100,000 and then your car dies or you lose your job or you need an emergency root canal. You have to sell investments to cover the expense. And Murphy's Law guarantees this will happen during a market downturn when your investments are down 20%. You just turned a temporary market dip into a permanent loss. The emergency fund prevents this. So let's say you pay off $15,000 in debt and put $25,000 into your emergency fund. You've got $60,000 left to invest. Some people will tell you this is too conservative. Those people have never experienced a real financial emergency without a safety net. The psychological freedom of knowing you can handle whatever life throws at you is worth more than the potential extra returns from investing that emergency fund money. Trust me on this. All right, we've got our $60,000 ready to invest. Now, here's where most people make their second big mistake. They open a regular brokerage account and start buying stocks because that's what they see people doing on social media. Meanwhile, they're leaving free money on the table from tax-advantaged accounts. This is backward. If you have access to a 401k with an employer match, maxing this out is your first move. For 2026, the employee contribution limit is $24,500 if you're under 50. Employer matches are typically based on a percentage of your salary, not your contribution amount. But any match is free money, and you take it every time. It's a guaranteed return before the investments even grow. You literally cannot beat this anywhere else. Next up, the Roth IRA. For 2026, you can contribute $7,500 per year if you're under 50. Assuming you're within the income. This might be the most powerful wealth-building tool that exists for long-term investing. Every dollar you put into a Roth IRA grows completely tax-free forever, not tax-deferred like a traditional 401k, tax-free. When you retire and pull out $500,000 from your Roth, you don't owe a single dollar in taxes. The government can't touch it. Starting early with Roth contributions is like planting a tree that the IRS isn't allowed to chop down. Now, here's the move that most people don't know about. If you have a high deductible health insurance plan, you likely qualify for an HSA, a health savings account. If you're on a high deductible health plan, you can contribute $4,400 if you're single or $8,750. If you have family coverage in 2026, HSA accounts are actually triple tax advantaged. The contribution is tax deductible, the growth is tax-free, and withdrawals for medical expenses are tax-free. After age 65, you can withdraw for any reason and just pay regular income tax like a traditional IRA. This makes HSAs potentially better than even a Roth for long-term wealth building. So if we max out all these accounts, that's $24,500 to a 401k, $7,500 to a Roth IRA, and $8,750 to an HSA with family coverage. That is $40,750 going into tax-advantaged accounts. From our original $60,000, that leaves $19,250 to invest in a regular taxable brokerage account. Now I know what you're thinking. Max, I can't afford to lock up all this money in retirement accounts. What if I need it? Fair point. But here's what you're missing. Roth IRA contributions, not the gains, just the contributions, can be withdrawn anytime tax and penalty free. You've got flexibility, and having the bulk of your investments in tax-advantaged accounts will save you tens of thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands in taxes over your lifetime. Okay, we've got our money in the right accounts. Now comes the moment everyone's been waiting for. What do we actually invest in? And this is where I disappoint everyone looking for some secret strategy or hot stock picks. We're building a boring, diversified portfolio that requires almost zero maintenance and will quietly compound for decades. Here's the allocation I'd use for that $60,000 total allocation pool, and this applies whether you're 25 or 55, though you'll adjust slightly based on your timeline. 70% goes into a total U.S. stock market index fund, something like VTI or FZROX or SWTSX. These funds own literally thousands of U.S. companies across every sector and every size. Large cap, mid cap, small cap technology, healthcare, finance, everything. You're buying the entire American economy in one fund. When you own the total market, you don't need to guess which companies will win. You own all of them. 20% goes into A total international stock market index fund, something like VXUS or FTIHX. This gives you exposure to developed markets like Europe and Japan, plus emerging markets like China and India. The U.S. has been dominant for the past decade, but that won't necessarily continue forever. International diversification means you're not putting all your eggs in one country's basket. 10% goes into a total bond market index fund, something like BND or FBIDX. Bonds are boring. They don't have the upside of stocks, but they provide stability and reduce overall portfolio volatility. When stocks crash 30%, bonds might only drop 5% or might even go up. This 10% allocation isn't about maximizing returns. It's about helping you sleep at night during market crashes so you don't panic sell everything. So our $60,000 breaks down to $42,000 in U.S. stocks, $12,000 in international stocks, and $6,000 in bonds. 3 funds. That's the entire portfolio. No individual stock picks, no sector bets, no cryptocurrency, no gold, no commodities, just 3 incredibly boring, low-cost index funds that own approximately 10,000 different investments globally. Now here's why this works. Over any 20-year period, this type of portfolio has never lost money, ever. There have been crashes, recessions, bear markets, depressions, wars, pandemics, and this allocation has weathered all of it and come out ahead. The average annual return over the past 30 years for a portfolio like this has been around 8 to 9%. Some years it's up 25%. Some years it's down 15%. But over time, the trend is unmistakably upward. Here's a question that keeps people up at night. Should you invest all $60,000 at once, or should you spread it out over several months to reduce risk? This is called the lump sum versus dollar cost averaging debate. And there's actually research on this. Vanguard studied this exact question using 90 years of market data. Their conclusion? Lump sum investing beats dollar cost averaging about 68% of the time, meaning 2/3 of the time, you're better off investing everything immediately. Why? Because markets go up more often than they go down. On average, the market is positive about 70% of all days. So when you hold cash waiting to invest gradually, you're statistically more likely to be sitting in cash during days when the market goes up. You're trying to reduce risk, but you're actually reducing returns. That said, there's a psychological component here that matters. If you invest all $60,000 today and the market crashes 20% tomorrow, are you going to panic and sell, or are you going to hold steady and keep investing? If you're honest with yourself, and the answer is you'd panic, then dollar cost averaging over 6 to 12 months might be the right move. Not because it's mathematically optimal, but because it's the approach you'll actually stick with. Here's what I'd personally do. I'd invest the full $60,000 immediately, but I'd make a commitment not to look at the account for 1 year. Not because looking is bad, but because checking your portfolio every day during a downturn will trigger every emotional instinct to sell. The less you look, the less tempted you'll be to do something stupid. Set it, forget it, and let time do the heavy lifting. Now that everything's invested, here's what you do for the next 20 years. Almost nothing. Once a year, on the same date every year, you check the allocation. Maybe your 70-20-10 split has drifted to 75-18-7 because U.S. stocks had a great year. You rebalance by selling a bit of what went up and buying what went down to get back to 70-20-10. This takes 10 minutes. Then you close the account and don't look at it again for another year. That's it. That's the entire maintenance schedule. You're not trading. You're not reacting to news. You're not selling when things look scary or buying more when things look great. You're just checking once a year that your allocation is still roughly on target and making minor adjustments if needed. The research is clear on this. The more frequently you check your portfolio, the worse your returns tend to be, because the more you check, the more opportunities you have to make emotional decisions. Here's what you definitely don't do. You don't watch CNBC. You don't read headlines about market crashes or bull markets and think you need to react. You don't listen to your friend who made 50% on some penny stock and think you're missing out. You especially don't sell everything and go to cash because you're worried about a recession. Market timing doesn't work. It never has. The data is overwhelming on this. Even professional fund managers can't time the market reliably. You won't either. Now we add fuel. Let's say you invest $1,000 per month or $12,000 per year going forward. Here's what happens if you combine an initial $60,000 plus $12,000 per year over 25 years at an 8% average annual return. You end up with approximately $1.39 million. You personally contributed about $360,000. The market contributed over $1 million. That's compounding. By the later years, your portfolio's growth will exceed your annual contributions. Your money will be doing more work than you are. Let's put this $100,000 against a long-term reality check with pure math. $100,000 invested at 8% for 30 years becomes about $1 million. Add $500 per month and it grows to about $1.84 million. Add $1,000 per month and it grows to about $2.58 million. These aren't fantasies. They're the predictable outcome of time, discipline, and boring consistency. Most people don't fail because their plan is bad. They fail because they panic. They sell during downturns. They wait for confirmation to re-enter. They chase what's hot. They abandon boring strategies because boring doesn't feel productive. The plan works specifically because it removes your ability to sabotage yourself. So if you've got $100,000 or you're working toward it, here's what I want you to take away. Get your foundation solid first. Eliminate high-interest debt and build your emergency fund. Max out tax-advantaged accounts before using taxable accounts. Build a simple 3-fund portfolio of low-cost index funds. Invest consistently over time. Check it once a year, and then just live your life while your money quietly compounds in the background. This is the truth no one wants to hear. There is no secret, no hack, no shortcut. Diversified index investing, low costs, tax efficiency, consistency, and patience have created more millionaires than any complex strategy ever invented. It's not exciting, but it works. It won't make you feel like a sophisticated investor. You won't have stories about the amazing trade you made, but you will, with near certainty, build substantial long-term wealth. And at the end of the day, that's the only thing that actually matters. If this video gave you clarity, hit like, subscribe, and remember, your future self is counting on the decisions you make today, not the ones that feel exciting, but the ones that actually work.